We very much work with companies that are looking to grow their business. No conversation is too early with a business when they're looking to grow and to scale up. Because I think there are a number of different opportunities for financing and growing your business that we've heard about today. You just want to be the best informed, I think, in terms of how to do that most efficiently. But we also, like the team at Inspire, have our own elite program that supports private businesses looking to grow, and they don't necessarily need to IPO on the back of it. Talking a bit about the equity capital markets, because I just think it's probably quite useful as a context to know what type of businesses are coming to market, how much they're raising, but also just like to spend a little bit more time as well explaining why we thought it was a good idea at the exchange to create something like Elite to support scale-up businesses. And in the UK, we're very good at supporting early stage startup businesses, but actually seeing that through and helping to support them through various different stages of their expansion is really important. And we think that AIM has an important part to play there from the long-term equity capital markets perspective. For us, the Elite program sort of sits at a point at which companies are really trying to sort of explore where their different funding options are, but also just not about funding, but other issues that might need to be considered around protecting your IP or talent management. There's an awful lot happening sort of from an equity market perspective at the moment. We sort of started out the year with quite a lot of activity on our main market, a lot of private equity-backed companies that came and exited. AIM was quite quiet in terms of, sort of IPO activity. Saw more activity sort of around February, March time, when we saw more consumer and UK businesses coming to market to access capital. AIM really is about supporting growing companies. It was set up in 1995. It has no requirements around the size that you need to be at admission or your market capitalization growth. The profile of AIM companies sort of really shows you that it is a very broad market in terms of the size that it supports. The size of businesses on AIM tend to be sort of around that 25, 50 million pound brackets. AIM has been a fantastic source of long-term equity capital supporting growing businesses. It's not just the ability to raise capital when they first come to market, but also that there is the confidence in the market that companies can come back and raise further capital as they grow. So it is not uncommon to see small cap businesses on AIM return 2, 3, 4 times throughout their life on market. And we have an investor base that supports AIM that very much understands sort of the risk reward capital of growing businesses. It genuinely has a strong representation from a number of different sectors, which I think is an important and valid point for you guys as businesses and where you may look to grow in the future. From a market infrastructure point as well, if we had a market that was just about technology or just about one sector, we would certainly suffer a lot more when there's changes in the economic cycle. We've seen sort of in 2015 quite a number of tech businesses that came to market. We've gone through a period a bit more of consumer brands. So we had the likes of Hotel Chocolat. We had Jules, the retailer. We've had Comptoir Restaurant Group. Since Brexit, the first technology business that came was called LoopUp. And it's really interesting because actually they've all raised various different amounts of money and have had interesting stories behind them. So we've had 37 million pound raisings, we've had 150 million pound raisings, and we've had quite a few exits as well on AIM of some private equity firms that have come into deals. So we had a company on Friday called Premier Asset Management based down in Surrey that had Electra Partners as a backer and did a 140 million deal on the market. I won't dwell too much on this. There's a few points I just wanted to bring out around why we see companies looking to grow their business and why they might well think that the public markets is a route for them. A lot of it is around that access to finance, of course, not just institutional, but the retail investor. There's that we have a very well understood and strong network of support for SMEs, I think, in the UK. There is a whole source of those that would support you along that journey. We hear a lot from some companies that it's around the profile opportunities and the ability to be part of that peer group, and also the potential additional bargaining power that it has for you as a PLC to have with both your customers and suppliers, and can extend the reach of your business perhaps more on an international level as well. No minimum or size requirement for companies when they come to market. It is designed as a very flexible market for growth companies to be able to grow their business, and as such, therefore, there's certainly lighter regulations when it comes to the production of admission documents and your corporate governance standards. And a key part for AIM and the success of the market is the model that was established in the UK around having a nominated advisor. So you would appoint a corporate finance firm to act in that role to help you support coming to market, in addition to other sort of legal and accountancy advisors as well. You've heard already a little bit about Elite, and it's something that we're really proud of at the Exchange, and actually first started by our colleagues in Borsa Italiana. They recognised a need in the Italian market to help support their small businesses. Many of them were family-backed businesses that weren't using the equity capital markets as a way to grow. And when we saw from the UK side, they were really onto a good thing there. We are at a very unique position, I think, in the equity capital markets and the London Stock Exchange Group, where we can sit at the centre of the ecosystem of advisors and investors and companies. And we could use that network in a way in which we can support private companies in a more structured way. The Elite programme in the UK is a partnership that we have established with Imperial Business College to deliver a series of workshops over that 18-month period, bringing together a cohort of companies of around sort of 12, 15, maximum sort of 20. And it's addressing all sorts of issues that range from the talent management piece, from the governance, from the protection of your IP. I think probably what is most useful to sort of see is who makes up that ecosystem. This is who makes it up from the partner perspective. So we have a whole series of accountants, lawyers, advisors, other sources of finance as well, because one of the premises of setting up this programme was that it is a finance neutral. We are not pushing these companies to IPO. This sits in much more in an area of our business in which we strongly believe that supporting SMEs is important for the growth of the economy and for job creation. We do this through a number of ways. Elite is obviously a core way, but also we have a publication that we produce annually that's called 1,000 Companies to Inspire Britain. And that publication really is about putting a spotlight on companies throughout the UK, and we have actually developed one that we're using in Europe as well, very successfully there with our lobbying work with the European Commission and other organisations. This is us recognising that we have a role to play to support that early stage and growth businesses. So some of the companies that have been through the programme or are in the programme are the likes of some of the names you can see there. So Unruly Media was part of the programme before they were bought by News Corp. Graze, who do the snacks that get delivered to your door, they're part of the programme. Benefex, Toucanbox, Crowdcube, so interestingly, a crowdfunding organisation, part of the programme as well. It's a national programme delivered out of London, either at the London Stock Exchange or at Imperial. And I think it very much sort of, it's similar sort of ethos as the Goldman Sachs 10,000 programme and others around getting together a peer group of companies that are across the different sectors but facing very similar business challenges and issues, and together as a group you're able to sort of do a deep dive into some areas that you really need to resolve. We've certainly seen there's been examples of companies that have cross-invested in each other or have become customers, suppliers of each other. So I think it still feels like it's in relatively early days because we've had just the one cohort that's come through at this stage, and the second very shortly. But it's certainly fulfilling a great role for us at the exchange and what we believe about supporting scale-up. So if you're interested in having a discussion further about it, very happy to do so. The slight differences around sort of entry are that ours is a minimum of £5 million turnover as the starting point. And really that's about having the high growth ambitions that I think we all share here in the room today.